list every mistake you can think of, and I've made it. And I like to think I'm an example of you can always recover. When I was a young 20-something, which wasn't that long ago, I did everything you could think of. I missed payments on my credit cards. I would take cash advance off one credit card and use that to make a payment on another credit card. I would do everything wrong. And then I was working for a financial institution, and I was 30 at that time, and so no longer in my 20s, and I got turned down for a $500 credit card with the financial institution I worked for. And I'm going, what's going on here? Like, I'm making good money. Why could I get turned down for such a small credit card? And I didn't realize the damage I had done in my youth. I didn't realize that that damage was still following me, and that how much I made really had nothing to do with my credit score. Good morning, good afternoon. I guess it all depends on what time of the day you're logging in and listening to us today. I want to thank everyone who is listening to us today and is taking some time apart. You are what we're calling the Humans of Money Mentors, and we're here during Financial Literacy Month, which is sponsored through the FCAC, the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada. And their theme this month is Money Talk. So we've got some of the Humans of Money Mentors here, and we're going to talk money. And we're going to talk through a variety of topics throughout the different weeks in the month. And the topic for this particular week is we're going to be chatting about credit. But before we get into that, just some quick introductions. Hi, everyone. My name is Tim. I am the Director of Education for Money Mentors. I'm a retired CFP, and I have an extensive background in history in financial services. Manraj, did you want to give a little intro?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Manraj, and I'm a curriculum and resource coordinator here with Money Mentors, and I'm excited to chat about credit today. And Kim, do you want to give a short intro as well?
Sounds good. I'm Kimberly. I've been with Money Mentors for 11 years, so I'm an oldie, and I work in the client services department, and I assist the clients with getting through the OPD program.
Thank you very much for that, everyone. So I got a question for the two of you and for everyone who's listening. And it's a very basic question in some ways, but in some ways not. And that is like, when's the last time you checked your credit history?
I check my credit history typically yearly with both Equifax and TransUnion.
And I, being that I'm pulling reports all the time for clients, I check mine pretty much quarterly, I would say at the minimum.
That's great. And it's really important to check your credit history. I check mine, well, at least once a year. Sometimes as often as once a month. I get these little reports that pop up in my inbox reminding me to check it. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but at least once a quarter. And one thing that people really don't realize about your credit history is that it is really more important in some ways than your credit score. And the reason I say that is because it's your credit history that determines your credit score. A credit score is a number that represents your credit history. So you really need to understand what's in your credit history, because if your credit history is wrong, well, then your credit score is going to be wrong. And I'll give you a very quick example. I was checking my credit history once, and I noticed that there was a mistake in there, and it had showed I'd missed a mortgage payment, which I hadn't, I thought, and then I did a quick check. My credit score had dropped 150 points because of what was in the credit history. And I checked my bank account, and the money was there, but the bank had failed, their mistake, to pull the payment. And because of the bank's error, my credit score dropped. Took us about 3 months to fix, and that mistake was only 2 weeks old when I spotted it. So really staying on top of your history is very important.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, it makes me want to actually check my credit a lot more often now, maybe quarterly, just to be safe when it comes to those mortgage payments. So I'm curious now for, everybody here, what credit mistakes have you made and how did you overcome them?
tackle that one, Kim?
Yeah, for sure. I think as a younger, just learning how to deal with credit, I took out too much credit in the first, as I was learning to maneuver through that stage of life of becoming somebody that has a profile with your credit bureau, took too much out. So I had to kind of take a step back, clean all that up, and then grow from there. So just a reminder to, keep your credit utilization within your means.
Well, and what kind of mistakes have I made? List every mistake you can think of, and I've made it. And I like to think I'm an example of you can always recover. When I was a young 20 something, which wasn't that long ago, I did everything you could think of. I missed payments on my credit cards. I would take cash advance off one credit card and use that to make a payment on another credit card. I would do everything wrong. And then I was working for a financial institution and I was 30 at that time, and so no longer in my 20s. And I got turned down for a $500 credit card with the financial institution I worked for. And I'm going, what's going on here? Like, I'm making good money. Why could I get turned down for such a small credit card? And I didn't realize the damage I had done in my youth. I didn't realize that that damage was still following me, and that how much I made really had nothing to do with my credit score. It was all that damaging credit history. That was correct. I did that all to myself. So I made every possible mistake and I corrected it through time. I corrected it by realizing the mistakes that I had made, stopping those mistakes, and starting to adopt new, healthier habits.
Thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. I think when it comes to credit, we're not taught these things regularly, especially right before we get a credit card. So it makes sense that we might make some mistakes here and there, but we can overcome them. We can, rebuild our credit as well. So thank you so much for sharing.
So I guess that the next question I'm going to throw out to everyone, kind of related to all this, is what is your top credit tip? And I'm going to save myself for last on this one, and maybe I'll throw it out to Manraj to see if you want to get started on that. What's your top tip?
Sure. So my top credit tip is to regularly review your credit card statement. It might feel tedious at first, but it really helps ensure that you're aware of everything that's actually being charged to your card. And it helps you be aware of whether, your card information may have been taken and is being used somewhere else or not. And then you can put a stop to it right away. And Kimberly, would you like to share yours?
For sure. My top credit tip would be to set alerts to stay on top of your bills. The single best thing you can do for your credit score is to pay your bills on time. That means making at least the minimum payments by the due date every month. Payments even a day or two late can negatively affect your credit score. So consider setting up pre-authorized debits, registering for electronic alerts on your accounts to remind you when your bills are due.
Well, and I'm gonna stick on my topic and on my theme of pull your credit history. Know your credit history. It is so important, and it goes to what you, both Manraj and Kim were saying. If you pull your credit history, it shows all the money you owe to everybody. So it's important to check your Visa statement, your MasterCard statement, but that shows what you owe to that one lender. Your credit history shows everybody. So if anyone is doing anything and trying to steal your identity, odds are good it's going to show up. If there's a mistake any place, the odds are pretty good it's going to show up. And one really important thing to understand about pulling your credit history is there's a myth out there, is that pulling your credit history will bring down your credit score. It will not. Pulling your credit history has absolutely no impact on your credit score, so feel free to pull it and stay on top of your personal information.
Fantastic tips. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. So to wrap up here, we would like to thank everyone that has taken the time to watch our little Humans of Money Mentors video and that is participating in Financial Literacy Month. Feel free to check out our Money Mentors website to access more resources and information on personal finance. The Financial Consumer Agency of Canada also has a lot of great resources on their website. And with that, I hope everyone has an amazing day.